Hey, my name's Brent Hewlett, and I'm here today with my friend Dwayne Jett, who's going to be sharing with us a bit of his life story with the hope that you might be able to hear something that will benefit you in your journey in life. So Dwayne's going to be sharing with us some of his strengths, hopes, and experiences, and in the context of what it was like for him, what happened, and what it's like now.
Well, I might be the only person to have been put out of preschool, and I contribute my delinquencies as a juvenile to my diagnosis of mental health. And in the 60s, I like to add that peer pressure was then too, and I didn't want to be known as an Eddie or a special ed or mental case, so I took the route of substitute my medications for narcotics, which in turn led to serious consequences throughout my juvenile life.
So Dwayne, you started out with some challenges, as a lot of people do, and to get some relief from those challenges, you were started to use drugs and narcotics as a way to escape, and then that became a lifestyle for you then, right?
Yes, sir. I would say in the mid-70s, I chose to run away from home for good because I didn't want to deal with my stepfather, which was a good man in hindsight. Went to California, and from 72 to 79, I was involved with any and every drug with the exception of heroin. The drug trade at that time was very profitable. I associated myself with quite a few different people that were doing wrong, which subsequently in 79 led to my destruction to 2010. And I say that to say from 79 to 2010, I haven't been what is known as society for 2 years.
Okay. So Dwayne, you, with a challenge at home, you ran away from home basically, and then ended up in California, land of milk and honey, and got into the seduction of that, the drugs, the good lifestyle, money, but there's a price to pay for that. You spent, what, 30-something years in jail because of this? Incarcerated on and off?
To elaborate on that, from 79, I left California and came to Atlanta, Georgia, because I have relatives here. And to show you the insanity, it wasn't, I guess, say 2 months I hadn't been in Georgia. I robbed, armed robbery. I went to one store in the middle of the block and robbed it. And 2 stores down, went and robbed that store, all in the same night. You know, I just came from California, high on that angel dust, cocaine, pills, and eventually I was caught 2 weeks later. A neighbor of my relatives told the police where I was. I had gotten sentenced to 18 years. I might have did 5. They paroled me, stayed out like 2 months, a month, got another robbery, but this time it was a robbery by intimidation. Spent several years in prison, and it came down to a nice prison sentence. 20 years on one case and 10 years on another case. So from, like I said, from 79 to 2010, I hadn't been on the street, better known as society, for 2 years and 3 months, all because of my behavior and the situations I put myself in to be incarcerated.
So Dwayne, that's a long time to be in and out of the jail. When I met you almost 3 years ago now, you were just out of prison. You were just starting to look around and trying to figure out what life on, quote, on the street is like. What happened? What changed for you?
I've come to the realization after this last prison sentence that my life had to change. And I believe it was November, I got discharged, November 2010, I had been discharged from prison. And in my search for a different life, I came about 8111 on Roswell Road. And from that moment, I believe it was on a Sunday, I'm not sure the date, but 2010, my life took a complete change. Two angels entered my life. We'll not go into their names because they're in trouble themselves at this time, but two angels, which I would never have nothing bad to say about them, they took me to Snellville, which is in Georgia, and no worries, just try to get your life into a different perspective. And at that time, nothing had changed me. Prison, my mother, my stepfather's whoopings, expelling from all the schools, nothing changed me but a book, and it's called Alcoholics Anonymous. And that book made the difference in my life, spiritually and mentally.
So you were out looking for a solution. You found a support group at an alcoholic recovery group, 8111, and then you found some people within that group to help you in your journey that were able to get you into a mental facility and got you a little straightened away, and then got you going on a pathway using AA as a program of recovery.
Yes, sir. I've come to the realization, instead of me always blaming others for my mistakes, I have to be man enough to own up to my own mistakes in life. And it's a journey that I guess all of us have to go through at times, but I always blame somebody else for my actions. And until I took responsibility for my actions, my life has become much manageable. And I owe it greatly to the two men that moved me out of Atlanta and had me into a situation where there was no outside interferences and I could understand myself. Because until I loved myself, then I couldn't love others. And I found that I didn't love myself. Because if somebody would have did me the way I did myself, I probably would have had some harm for those people.
Mm-hmm. So that was a big change for you as part of your journey, is to get to know yourself and get on a more spiritual base too. When you and I talk, and we're doing this at our church after a book study, if you would, that's also part of your journey, this spiritual experience.
Yes, sir. I've always read the Bible, but I never had an understanding of the Bible. And the only time that I would ask for God's help was in the time of trouble. Can you not let me get this much time on my sentence, or help me out of this situation? And until I accepted the fact that God is present at all times, whether I'm going through good things or bad things, He is always a loving God and will protect me. And until you, Mr. Brent, offered me the opportunity to come to a Bible study, 6:30 in the morning. Woo-wee. What kind of Bible study is that? But until I accepted that I may need this, and I'm not doing anything else to help myself, then I participate in the Bible study, and I've experienced some of the blessings that God has bestowed upon me. And it is at this time, and as I told you when I first met you, Mr. Brent, that my goal is to help other people excel, give them the hope. That's what help other people excel. Give other people the hope that they can do better as they progress spiritually and mentally. You can't do it alone, as so many of us try to do. We all need help to understand where we're headed in this journey in life, because like no man is an island, and everybody needs a friend. And you have been more than a friend, Mr. Brent. And the Lutheran Church has also helped in this journey, because now I have a support group that not only loves me for me, but has reached out spiritually to help me.
Dwayne, this is a great story. You know, what I'm hearing is you had, you know, from a troubled childhood to a time in your life where you were making money, but in a trade that wasn't really respectable. It had a lot of consequences. You paid the consequences. You were incarcerated. A lot of your life was spent behind bars. And then on the way out, you've discovered yourself, basically. You found who you are. You've learned to love yourself. You've gotten with people that you listen to, and they listen to you. Actually, we get a lot listening to your stories. It keeps us better today, and you're able to now share that experience.
And that's my goal. Again, is to help other people excel, because in today's society there are so many pitfalls that one can fall into, and being a convicted felon, I know the struggles that one has to go through on a daily basis in order to stay free. It's a mental and a spiritual challenge daily.
So Dwayne, this has been a great story for you to share your past experiences, what happened, and what it's like now, what's going on. How would you summarize this? What would you want to share with people?
Basically, my goal is to change the perspective of the convicted felon. Everybody has a platform except the convicted felon. And I say that to say some of us want to change, but opportunities to change are hard and few. And on the other foot, to the convicted felon, it's really not hard, it's just different, you know. And I say that to say we have been so conditioned that wrong is right, that when we try to do right, then we think we're wrong, but that's just the opposite. God is in the blessing business, and we're all children of God, and he has no more blessing for you as the convicted felon as he has for the working man. All we have to do is trust in the system and trust God to lead us in the right direction. If it's not right, your mental conscience will have an alarm that tells you it's not right. It's not hard, it's just different to do the next right thing. And with that, I'd like to close with a God blessing to all.